Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's update on the Alberta wildfires. We'll begin with updates from Bree Hutchinson from the Alberta Emergency Management Agency and Christy Tucker from Alberta Wildfire. Then we'll take your questions. Please go ahead, Bree.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone. There's been good progress in the fight against the wildfires thanks to recent precipitation and improved weather, as well as the tremendous efforts of firefighters and Albertans who are paying attention to restrictions and guidelines. In the past 24 hours, some communities have announced re-entry plans, while others are preparing for re-entry. Nevertheless, the threat of wildfires continues, and residents need to remain vigilant. Alberta continues to be under a provincial state of emergency, and the Provincial Emergency Coordination Centre remains at a level 4. There are currently 21 states of local emergency, 5 band council resolutions, and an estimated 7,243 people remain evacuated at this time. Right now, 8 reception centers are open for affected areas, and the total number of evacuation orders now stands at 11. The Edmonton Reception Centre closed yesterday, and the Calgary Reception Centre will be ceasing operations this afternoon. For up-to-date information on reception centre locations, please visit alberta.ca/emergency. It is encouraging to see that the residents of Ochese First Nation, Swan Hills, Fox Creek, and Little Smoky are returning home. Residents of these communities should ensure they are closely following their local authorities' re-entry instructions to make sure the process goes smoothly. There is also helpful information on alberta.ca/emergency for how to re-enter safely. It is also crucial to remember that many residents who are returning home will continue to be on evacuation alert, as is the case in Swan Hills. This means that residents should still have a bag packed and a plan in place for evacuating again, should it be necessary. As other evacuated communities are preparing their re-entry plans, I want to once again encourage evacuees to listen to information from reliable sources, such as your local authority, or go to alberta.ca/emergency. We know that all evacuees want to get home as quickly as possible. Emergency officials are working hard to fight these fires, but this situation is extremely challenging, and safety is always their top priority. As well, before evacuees can return home, local officials need to make sure the community has its critical infrastructure restored. Things such as utilities, grocery stores, healthcare facilities, and other essential supplies and services need to be in place. If your community is still under evacuation order, it means that there is still a threat from a wildfire that is burning and could continue to grow. That's why we encourage you to keep checking with your local authority. They'll provide information on their re-entry plans through their social media and websites. They need to ensure that conditions are safe before evacuees can return home. We appreciate the continued patience and understanding that evacuees have shown throughout this emergency. Firefighters and local authorities are working hard to ensure that you can safely return home as soon as possible. For those who are still evacuated, we continue to urge you to please register at your nearest reception center or online. Evacuees with questions can also call 310-4455. As well, the province continues to hold telephone town halls for evacuees looking for more information or needing answers to their questions. There isn't one tonight, but there will be a town hall tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Mental health resources are also available for people impacted by the fires. These emergencies are extremely challenging, and there is help available for anyone who may be struggling during these stressful times. Those who are feeling stressed or overwhelmed can contact 211 or call Counselling Alberta for virtual counseling services at 1-833-827-4230. The Alberta Health Services Mental Health Helpline is also available, and emergency evacuation centres have mental health supports available for those who've been evacuated. Please reach out for support if you or your loved ones need help. Thank you, and I'll now invite Christy to provide an update from Alberta Wildfire.
Thank you, Bree. There are 65 wildfires in the forest protection area of Alberta. 17 of those are out of control. So far this year, we've responded to 521 wildfires, burning more than 1,031,000 hectares. the extreme rate of growth we saw on these wildfires earlier this month has now slowed. Over the past 2 days, firefighters have been able to make significant progress on wildfires on the landscape. They've continued to build and reinforce fire breaks near communities and work on extinguishing hot spots inside the perimeter of wildfires. They're taking advantage of cooler, wetter conditions and more settled fire behavior to make progress on containing these fires. Thanks to these conditions, only one new wildfire has been detected in Alberta since yesterday. Many Albertans are happy to see the rain, none more than those who've been evacuated from their homes. To them, I will say that while conditions are helping, there's still work to do to contain these wildfires. We'll keep working hard on the ground and in the air, and we'll be providing municipalities with as much information as we can to help them make the decision on when to lift their evacuation orders. For those who are heading home, please remember that even if the status has changed, these are still active wildfires. Please allow firefighters the space to continue their work and stay out of burned out areas. Burned tree roots and ash pits can present hidden dangers, and people should always follow the direction of local authorities when re-entering their communities. New assistance in the firefighting effort is arriving every day. Today, we're welcoming a Hercules air tanker from California, which has the capacity to hold 3,000 gallons of water. Tomorrow, 25 firefighters from New Zealand will arrive, followed by nearly 200 from Australia over the weekend. We appreciate all of our partners who have come to help us through this record-breaking season. The season isn't over, and we're planning for what will be needed over the coming months to extinguish the large, complex wildfires that we've had this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. We will begin with questions in the room and then move to the phones. Please state your name and outlet. Each reporter will have one question and one follow-up. Are there any questions from reporters in the room? We'll now move to the phones. Operator, please put through the first call.
Cole Weiberg, CTV.
Oh, hi. I just wanted to ask about the situation near Fox Creek with people returning home today. You know, 1 week ago, you were saying that the fire was about 1K from the community. It jumped at the highway. It was looking a little bit scary for a while there. I just wanted to know what ended up happening with the fire and how you were able to direct it away from the community.
Thanks, Nicole. The wildfire, the Eagle Complex is a series of fires, 2 wildfires that are in the vicinity of Fox Creek and the municipality Greenview, Little Smoky. And they are still technically classified as out of control, but we have seen a big difference in the fire activity on these fires and the amount of work that we've been able to do to assist in helping to contain the fire. The fire has not moved any closer to the community. It is still approximately 1 kilometer, but the main difference there is the amount of ground they've been able to cover in helping to work on reinforcing fire guards. We have had assistance there from the military with a significant number of boots on the ground there to help the work of going through and looking for hot spots and help the work of actually bringing this fire along in extinguishing parts of the fire inside the perimeter that could still flare up and show activity. So it has been a lot of work on the ground since where we were a week ago, and I believe the firefighters have been in communication with the community, letting them know how that fight is going and give them as much information as they possibly can so they can make decisions on when to bring people home safely.
And Nicole, do you have a follow-up question?
Yeah, maybe I could just ask, I guess, what you think the biggest factor for the change there was, whether it was the efforts of firefighters or whether it was the changing weather conditions.
Well, I will say the weather conditions gave firefighters a big helping hand because rain is not enough to actually significantly change a wildfire that's burning out of control to suddenly become extinguished. There is a lot of work that's done by people on the ground, directing the wildfire, working on extinguishing areas that may still flare up. And so I think that's the work that in the long term makes a difference on how the fire is going to behave.
Operator, do we have any more calls?
There are no other questions on the phone at this time.
That concludes today's update on the Alberta wildfires. Please note a media situation report will be distributed later today. Thank you.